Good morning, good morning, good morning. Just give me a few minutes while I set everything up. I'm going to be working with some items here, and we're going to do a little bit of a catch up on what's been going on in my world for the past couple, I'm going to say like 2 weeks. I've been kind of MIA, and I still have a little bit more to go, but I needed a break. So, oh, there goes my audio. Let me mute the video. Give me 1 second. How do I mute this thing? Okay, here we go. Well, I don't think I need that one if I've got this one. Let me watch it on YouTube. And then I don't have to worry about the volume on this one. I don't think I need that one if I've got it. Alrighty. So we're gonna be working. This is gonna be kind of like an altered type of project. This used to be a cover, one of those binders for Stampin' Up, and it basically fell apart a long time ago. But I saved, you know, the nice sturdy pieces because I knew at some point I would turn it into some kind of a canvas, and so that's what we're gonna be working on today. I've gone ahead and pulled out these 2 Prima papers. And we're going to be using these 2 sides. I believe we're going to be using these 2 sides to do a little bit of collaging here and there. I'm just not sure. I think I'm going to be doing the collaging part after. I've already gone ahead and gessoed my surface, and I've used the chalky gesso by Decoupage Art to do it. A quick little memo on this gesso, the chalky gesso, you have to make sure that you shake it before you use it each and every single time, because there does seem to be some kind of separation that does take place, but the gesso is awesome. I love it. I've been gessoing a whole bunch of stuff. Okay, let's see. Okay. Let me just fix my quality over here. There we go. So that's what we're going to be doing today. Now I've gone ahead and I've pulled out some metals because we're going to be kind of embellishing this area. This is going to go like this. We're going to kind of be embellishing some of this area. I'll have to get my glue gun out so that I can go ahead and glue some of these things down. Hopefully I can find it. I was looking for it and I couldn't find it. I dropped my container. Yeah, I'm dropping a whole bunch of stuff. This is what happens when you stack things, right? Okay. So I don't find it. Okay, maybe I put it in the drawer. So let me see that. I still have a few minutes while everybody kind of starts coming in here, but if they don't, I'm still going to continue. And I don't know where I put my glue gun. So, all right. It is a Carmen morning, for sure. So we're going to go ahead and get this going. I am still going to glue down all of these things, but I'm going to probably glue it down a little bit different. This is what I'm thinking. I don't know if it's going to actually pan out that way, but this is kind of what I'm thinking. I have some of these flowers here. So what I was thinking is doing some kind of an arrangement. Now some of these have little pieces of wood in them, in the packaging. So I'm thinking to make some kind of an arrangement where my centerpieces are going to be in the center. And today we're going to be working with some flamingos that I purchased a while back at Hobby Lobby. And I haven't really used these chipboards because I've been using basically my chipboards for quite some time now. But I decided to kind of use these up because I have to go through, you know, a lot of these things that I have. So I'm like, let me just use these up. And I have 2 of them, luckily. So we're going to be putting them to kind of face each other like this and the seam. So that's what those are for. So basically, I'm thinking we're going to be organizing these in a way. This one's broken. You can tell I haven't used these in a while because they're all full of all of that little stuff. So I figured we could do something like that. So a little bit of an assemblage, and then a little bit of traditional painting, and mix both of these worlds up today. And again, I haven't been really going live because I've had a lot of things happening here in the house. They've been doing some repairs. They're still not done. We still haven't even got to the painting part. I'm just like, So a lot of my things are kind of stored up, put away, if you will. And I'm scared to kind of take those things out, and then they're like, okay, it's painting day today. So I'm kind of like trying to rush them, but at the same time, like trying not to drive myself crazy with all these people in my house constantly. So something like that is what I'm thinking. And have like a cascade of all these different flowers kind of going on around the whole kind of scene, something like that. Right? I can always get more if I need more. And that's basically what we're going to be doing. So let me go ahead and just kind of put this back in the box. And then I have these little Tim Holtz adornment flowers, florals, or whatever you want to call them. And we're going to be using these, I believe, on the flamingos themselves. So let me just get this out. Then I think I'm going to decorate these flamingos with this. Good morning, Vanessa. How are you, love? Thanks so much for joining me this morning. We're going to be working on an assembled, some kind of an assembled piece. So just getting these flamingos out. And again, I got these on Hobby Lobby. I got these on clearance for 37 cents, you guys. I was not going to pass that deal up. So we're going to be using these, like on these flamingos here. So I want to make sure that these are going to be able to fit. And then I'm going to create like a traditional kind of scene in the background there with all these. Oh, they go like that kind of, I guess. So we're going to create something like that, right? Trying to see how many of each it actually has. I don't think it's very even. Oh, I got these. Okay. So maybe something like that. On here. Oh, you're babysitting? I remember those days. I remember those days I used to babysit. So something like that, I'm thinking, right? I think that looks super cute. And that way I get to use up all these little bits that I haven't really got to use up in a while. And we have all these cute little flowers. So I'm thinking something like that on the flamingos, and then we're gonna kind of like glue all these things down. So I'm gonna go ahead and start actually gluing some of these things down. Or you know what? I'm debating right now. What should I do first? What should I do first? Yeah, I think the best bet is to actually go ahead and glue these in place. So let's go ahead and do that. And I'm just gonna start kind of gluing them all down. And I was looking for my glue gun. I don't know how the heck I lost it, but I lost it. It's somewhere. I just don't know where that somewhere is. So we're gonna have to rely on traditional glue today. I feel like almost cracking open the. Let me see if I can crack open this crazy glue that I have here. It's actually, I'm gonna go and like go hybrid on here. This is a Kiss brush on glue. I'm gonna see. I did my nails, so I have a little bit of this inventory just kind of laying around. So I'm gonna see if this will actually glue this stuff down. Let's test it. And this is the brush on glue for the nails. And it has a little brush on it, so I'm gonna see how this actually works. I'm gonna try to glue down a few of them with that. If that doesn't work, then I rely on the regular glue. Is there anything in here? Okay. So let's see. So basically, I'm just gonna brush it onto the bottom and just kind of set it. Set it and forget it. Remember that commercial? Set it and forget it. So I'm going to use this nail glue, which is basically a crazy glue. It's just a little bit different. And we're just going to kind of start putting these in there. Hopefully by the time that I adjust on everything else, anything else is kind of loose will adhere itself. Hopefully, right? We have a lot of these to kind of go. And let me just kind of put a dot in the center there. It is holding. It is holding, my friends. It is holding. And sometimes you can get these like for really cheap. So, hey, we got to figure it out, right? We got to figure it out sometimes. We just have to. We have to do what we got to do. So that's basically what I'm going to do today is do what I got to do to make this thing work and glue this down. I can mess with the little centerpieces later on, but I'm trying to do a job that normally would take some time to do in a faster pace. So, I have the fan blowing, which probably does not help. You have to make sure that you are generous with it. And we're going to see how this is going to kind of hold. I have no idea. We're going to see. We're going to see. And hello to everybody that's there watching. Thank you so much for joining me this morning. I hope you guys are having an awesome, awesome day. I couldn't take it anymore. I had to do something. I had to. Like, I've been kind of like doing these little paintings and stuff like that, you know, to kind of like relieve some stress and kind of like rest in between the cleanups. But oh boy, oh boy. They took my whole bathroom basically apart and we did it, which is awesome. But they're still not all the way finished. Still waiting for some parts that have not yet arrived. Again, we have to be somewhat generous with this thing. I'm going to drop a little top right on the center there. And hopefully once they dry, they don't move. They're holding on pretty well. We'll have to see how everything kind of turns out. It's okay, love. They just come to check it out. Sometimes they'll stop and say hi. Sometimes they won't. But it's okay. It's okay. So I think this is gonna come out really, really cool and interesting. Like I said, I'm gonna try to go somewhat traditional with the background painting. With the background, you know, with the actual scene of it all. I'm thinking I want to have them kind of like by a beach type of scene or some kind of ocean type of scene. This is really cool. I mean, I know it's the same thing as basically adding crazy glue to the back of it, but you have a little bit of, you have a brush, so you have a little bit of control, which is really good. You always want to have just a little bit of control because you know how that glue is. Sometimes it just gets everywhere. So having the little brush definitely helps out. You do have to be somewhat quick for this. And I'm gonna have to look for my hot glue gun. I don't know why I would package it, but maybe that's exactly what I did. You know how it is when you start cleaning, you don't even know half of the time what you're putting away, what you're not putting away. After a certain amount of, you know, organization, you kind of start wanting to rush through the process. And that's when things kind of go right back to the way they used to be, where you don't know what half the stuff is at. That seems to be like the story of my organizational life. Always going through that. So as far as updates, obviously, you know, I'm going through all these things here at home, so I haven't been able to really, you know, grab my bearings and do what I have to do as far as you know, adding new things to the store, even as much as creating new designs. I have a few, but I don't really feel that they're ready to be released just yet. So I'm gonna gear towards releasing in August, hopefully, if I am able to, but I am running a little bit behind. But at the end of the day, I still have plenty of designs and stencils on the site. So if you haven't checked that out, please make sure that you do so. It's happydaycrafts.com. There are more things coming. I have other things coming as well that are not chipboards and stencils. I have other elements that I'm going to be incorporating into the store that I think you guys are going to find awesome. So I'm really excited about that. So I've been doing a lot of brainstorming. I just haven't been able to put any of those ideas into actual action just yet. But hopefully sooner rather than later, right? Whoa. Hopefully sooner rather than later. So I'm trying to create like an arc across here. That's basically what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to encapsulate the scene with all of these different metal pieces, different metal flowers. And these are filigree flowers. For those of you that do not know what the name of these kinds of flowers are, or these types of metals, I should say. These are filigree. Let's see. Just really want to make sure that it kind of looks cohesive to a certain extent. I know my angle is probably a little off. And yes, this is a lot of flowers to add to this thing. Yeah, it's been that kind of time lately. Every time I sit down, that I'm like, okay, let me go ahead and start working on some of the stuff, or you know, let me do this or let me do that, and I'm so like, yeah, let me do it, and I'm gung-ho about it. I sit down and I end up doing something else, and that kind of goes whoo, right out the window. And then again, you know, like I always say, my mind is like so all over the place half the time that I'll start thinking about one thing, I'll start working on one idea, and I'll get like inspired out of nowhere to do like all these other different things. And if I don't like get them started at least, then I'll forget. And even when I write them down, I'll literally forget to look in the book where I wrote it down. So yeah, I used to be really big on note taking, not so big on note taking now, because I'm just I just don't read the notes. I'll find the notes later on, and then I'm like, oh, okay. I mean, which is still cool, because then when you don't have an idea, you can still kind of find something to do. But for the most part, I'm like, oh, oy vey. Yes. And I'm always like that, so I'm like I'm all over the place, all the time, all the time, all the time. And I've been watching a lot of nature stuff, and when I saw the flamingos, I was like, oh, I'm playing this Android game on my phone that has there's like a zoo game, and I just added some flamingos to it. So I was just like, oh, how cute. An homage to my video game. Okay. Personally, I'm not really one for flamingos like that. Out of all the birds, it's not necessarily my favorite. Let's see how this is going. I'm gonna. All right, all right, all right. Look, it's stuck, you guys. It's stuck. Now, would I tell you go push it around? No, don't go pushing it around. But it's stuck. It did stick, so that's a good thing. Now I know. Now I know. I wish that the bottle itself would be a little bit bigger, but it does work well. Okay. Jesus, they put so many they package these things up with, I don't know, with like straw or whatever. thing has like all these little beefy bits in there. All of these beefy little bits. Okay, so I'm just gonna add a few more of these just to kind of bring down the frame all the way down. And then we're gonna, I'm gonna gesso this. And then we're gonna start spraying. I'm gonna use some sprays first. And I'm gonna start to get at least a background going for like my sky of what's gonna be like my sky. I gotta look at my screen to see how my composition is going. And hopefully soon, which I haven't really been focusing on too much, but I'm gonna be upgrading my system, which is another reason why I kind of been a little bit slower with the designing aspect of it, because I'm trying to upgrade my system, so I don't want to have to, like, you know, I don't want to run the risk of losing anything that I've designed so far. So I'm trying to make sure that I don't, you know, add more to my load than I already have until I can get the situation kind of fixed up. So let me see. Let me bring these all the way down. I'm just gonna bring these all the way down right here. Some of these are pretty banged up. But yeah. Yes. Yes, definitely is. Definitely is. So moving forward, as I was saying, I should hopefully, once I get my whole situation upgraded, which, like I said, I'm working on that right now. Hopefully I have a monitor coming either today or tomorrow. Hopefully. And then I'll be able to start really making tutorial type videos that are not as long as these live streams. And as far as what I'm doing live streaming wise, I might put a hold on that for a while and focus more on creating videos, because I haven't made videos in quite some time. I mean, I have a lot of videos on my channel as it is. I got almost 1,000 videos. Like, honestly, I have almost 1,000 videos in 5 years. That's a lot of videos. That's a lot of videos. And I've gotten rid of a lot of them, and that's still a lot of videos. So I believe that this is good to go. Let me just make sure that I'm not missing anything. I think maybe one right there. Yeah, I'm thinking maybe one right there just to fill in that void. But other than that, I think it looks really good. Right? I have, like I said, I have a lot. I've done a little bit of everything on here. I have a lot of DIYs. I was one of the first people to make the DIY stamping tool. I've done like all different kinds of stuff. All different kinds of stuff, especially when I first started, because, you know, I was very frugal, you know, having to take care, obviously, of a family, so on and so forth. You can't, you know, crafts, especially at some of the prices that they, you know, they go for, that's a luxury that we cannot always afford. And so I had to learn how to kind of like, you know, DIY everything. So everything for me was very DIY. That's why I always say, if you can't buy it, make it, because at least 7 times out of 10, you'll find somehow, some way to recreate that what you're looking for. I'm just gonna add a little bit into all these little centers just to make sure that, you know, it's glued down properly, and I'm not gonna have these bits kind of falling off later. So I'm just gonna introduce a little bit of the glue into each of the flower centers. Just a little bit. But I'm very pleasantly surprised that this glue is working the way that it's working. Oh my goodness. Let me find out. And if there's no odor, there's no smell, and it does the job super fast, which you guys know I'm always struggling with drying things. I'm always drying, and I hate drying all the time. Um, let's see. It takes so much time to do it. All right, so we basically have that going on. Let me just make sure that I can take out all these little sticks, or that I've gotten rid of most of them, if not all of them. And then we're gonna start to kind of spray this whole thing down. I was gonna gesso them, but I don't think I'm gonna gesso them. I think I'm gonna just spray them with some of the Dina Wakley sprays, the gloss sprays, because I'm going for like a nice kind. I don't mind a little bit of this showing. I don't mind at all. Making sure that everything that needs to be hankered down is hankered down. Because again, once you start applying stuff, there's nothing worse than having to go back to glue everything back in. Just gonna hold that in place for a second. I know, but it's so many of them. Like I used to do that. Like when I used to do that so much. It's not even funny. I used to like literally back up everything. Oh my goodness. I have like, I don't even know how many cloud drives full of like stuff. But it gets to a point that like you can't really save it all. As much as I've tried to, like, okay, this is giving me a problem, this one right here. As much as I've tried to, like, nope, nope, nope. It just didn't want to, it was just too much. It was just too much work to constantly save them. Yeah, sometimes you have to DIY things. It's the only way to get things done. It's the only way to get things done. All right, so now that I have that, I'm gonna put these little bits and pieces over here. What I thought was that we can go ahead and I want to create some kind of a nice sky. So I have to figure out exactly where I'm going to put my horizon line at. And I cut out a circle if I can find it. I might have to cut it out again if I don't find it. But I cut out a circle, which we're going to see. We're going to see. I'm going to have to cut another one because I don't know where I put my circle at. Is it up here? Okay. And I brought some papers out. Oh, it's right here. I brought some papers out. So this is like those sticky vinyl, the thing that you use to lift up the vinyl images and stuff like that. So this is like a piece of that plastic adhesive. If I can get this thing off. We're gonna glue that into the center. My circle is a little wonky, but that's okay. So I'm basically gonna put that in the center somewhere. Just see, maybe somewhere around here, so that it can be like the place where my sun is gonna be, and I can still lift it up rather easily. And leave that area to like kind of put a makeshift sun. Hopefully, let's see how it all works out. I have no idea. We're gonna go ahead and grab ourselves some inks now. I've got some different color inks, and we're just gonna create a scene here. And I've got some Deco Art paints as well, some sprays. Maybe I will end up using some of those. But I want to go for like a dark kind of scene. So that's basically what I'm gonna do. And then we'll take it from there. So let's start. And the first color that I'm going to use is Dina Wakley's Marine. And basically, like I said, I'm just going to spray it over everything. I didn't gesso the metals. And this is like a glossy spray. So we're going to do that. And then I'm going to grab some of Deco Art's Shimmer Mist and Turquoise. And also spray that on there. We're going to spray some whites. Like I said, we're just going to do a whole Mod Podge of stuff. I have one of those terabyte external hard drives, and let me tell you the craziness that I experienced actually a few weeks ago. I didn't really share it. I that hard drive crashed. Like my hard drive crashed. I had so many more files, like especially like designs. I had so many designs that were there that I just kept saving them there without saving them somewhere else. Uh, Idiotically, honestly, because I know better than that. And when I went to plug my hard drive in, it didn't want to read it at all. I downloaded so many different programs because I'm a little bit computer savvy when it comes to certain things. So I downloaded all these different programs. I try to reformat it, partition the hard drive, do all of these different things. But it wasn't reading it. Like the hard drive itself is corrupt. I literally still have it in a drawer somewhere. It just so happened that, and this is why I know God always has my back. Thank you, Lord Jesus. It just so happened that I had a computer here that I was going to be repairing. It was like a little laptop. And it was one of those slimline laptops. So actually the hard drive in that laptop was one of those slim hard drives, which was perfect because it fit in the chassis of my external hard drive. So I was able to swap it out and put it back in the same casing and hook it up to my computer and use it. So I got a brand new one basically. And thankfully it was the same capacity. It was the same capacity as well. So that was like super fun. I was like super fun when it finally was just like, yay, it works, thank God. Thank God. So we're just gonna do a little bit of this and a little bit of that. And like I said, I just want to create some kind of a scene here. It looks very marbly, I like that. And let me just use my brush here to kind of go around some of the white areas that are still showing through. I really like that. I really love how that's looking. So I'm eager to see how that's going to turn out once it's all dry. So I'm just going to kind of daub some of that color in there and get all of that kind of going. So yeah, I've had a heck of a time, let me tell you, especially since I opened up the shop. It's like Murphy's Law has literally been chasing me, but it's all right because I'm a good batter. And I definitely know how to pitch. So I've been kind of like struggling, but making it through, like, figuring things out rather quickly, which is awesome. And luckily things have been kind of falling into my lap, if you will. They have helped me along the way. So yes, thank God. So I'm still going to keep pushing through because I know that at the end of the day, he wouldn't be helping me this far if it wasn't something that, he wanted me to make it. He wants me to make it, and I want to make it too. So for the most part, I'm going to keep pushing. I might have little intermittent, situations where I have to kind of like pause production, if you will. But I will slowly get back up there and surely get back up there, even if it's a little bit slower than normal. I love how this is looking so far. Angela, what do you think? I think this is going to come out super sick. I'm like, oh, I love this marbling that's taking place. And if this is going to be my night sky on this piece, oh. Yes. I have a lot of pooling going on, but I'm going to move some of that color around. And we still have a few more layers to add. I'm trying to keep the bottom white because the bottom is going to be where they're going to be, and I'm going to paint another one. Yes, and that's why I'm so scared right now, to be honest with you, because like I said, my laptop is at capacity. Like it really is at capacity. Whenever I try to I've tried to do like little intermittent videos, like let me see if I have it close to me. Let me show you. I've tried to make like little intermittent videos for like little projects, little things that I'm trying to do here and there, and every time that I go to record it, if I can find it. Yeah. Like this is something that I was trying to record to show, like to put up a video. So I was trying to record this, like the whole process of how I did it, start to finish, the whole works. And my video, as I was trying to like record it, it like kept freezing. So I'm like, okay, hopefully the you know, the footage doesn't get like corrupted, and then I could just pick up from like where I left off at. Yeah, no, it wasn't happening. When I restarted my computer, like try to save the file and restarted the computer, all of that was corrupted. It was like if you'd imagine like cable TV in the 1980s when you didn't have no cable or you didn't have no antenna, like the way that TV looked. Yeah, that's basically what I was getting as far as footage. So that's why I'm right now trying to, you know, upgrade my whole situation. I have half of it. I don't have the other half. So I'm working on that. Thank you. And it was like I was sharing, you know, every time that I do, how, you know, when I create, I always, you know, explain to you guys, or at least I try to explain to you guys what I'm doing, you know, why this works, why that doesn't work, you know, the effects, so on and so forth. So all of that speech that I was giving, everything that I was sharing as far as, you know, instructional advice, so on and so forth, it went right out the window. It went right out the window. All right, I'm gonna leave that a little bit wet so that I can introduce some of the other colors into it. I'm just gonna tap this a little bit and just kind of fill this in. Fill this in just a little bit more. Um, I'm gonna add just a little bit of black here, like the smallest amount. And I was gonna use paper, but I'm looking at this and I might not use that paper. I might just keep it like this, but we'll see. Maybe I can use it to create my water area, and I'll do my water area like in a collage form. Because I think that's gonna look super cute. Like once I put these in there, like, oh my God, oh my goodness. So I don't know if I'm gonna make that the moon, because I can make that the moon or I can make it a sun. I don't know. I think that the darkness of it all might lend itself to more of a night scene, but I'm just gonna go around like the edges over here. And these are Deco Arts sprays, and these are acrylic based sprays. And again, these are awesome. They're permanent. The pigment is so highly pigmented, but the one downfall is that they do tend to clog. So I would recommend that if you do happen to get access to these, maybe because they're on sale or whatever, don't pass it up. But what I will say is water them down and switch the bottles. Put it on something else. Put it on something else, and that will work better for you than these. The nozzle is just not that great in this. Let's see how pigmented this white is. It doesn't look very pigmented. Well, I'll go with these. It's scary how fast you can use this up. It really is. Thank you, thank you. And thank you for hanging out with me. Usually I would just be here, just creating and talking to myself. Well, not to myself, but to you guys, but you know what I mean. For the people that watch the video after the fact. I know it's just super long, you know, to sit in a live stream sometimes. And I'm on the East Coast and then I come on early, so everybody's either at work or so I'm gonna try to start squeezing in some of those nighttime sessions. At least do one or two a month, I'm not sure. And then I'll probably do like one session a month in the morning and more videos, more recorded videos, more recorded projects so that I can, you know, edit them, bring them, make them shorter, still packed with information and ideas, but not so overwhelming to be sitting there for X amount of time. Because I know I personally, I have patience, but not for all things. So I know that if for me, it's sometimes it's a little difficult to sit through a long, long video. I could just imagine, you know, that it will be the same for a lot of you guys as well. Okay. All right, all right, all right. So let me just kind of pick up some of whatever's wet here. And most likely what I'll do is after I'm done with the whole piece, so that I make sure that none of the stuff is going to fall off, I will apply triple thick. I will brush triple thick over everything, over all the embellishments, just to make sure that they're properly adhered all the way through and through. So this is what we're looking at so far. I need to add maybe some clouds. So let me grab a sponge and let me try to add some clouds here and there. And start adding some of the other elements. So hopefully this won't take too long. And we're gonna do that way. We're just gonna drop these little clouds in our somewhat of a night sky. Maybe the moon is out early that day. You want to have somewhat of a rounded corner, you know, a rounded area, so that you can get some of the little curvatures that are on, you know, the clouds. Okay, so I kind of like that. And basically, you can always add more depth to it, depending. You know, you just let it dry a little bit, and then go back over. That way, you're not muddying the colors, and then you'll get more of a sharper, you know, a sharper contrast between the tones. So, like every time that I go over with the white, it'll get more intense, and some of the colors that are in the, you know, some of the other colors will blend in more into the background. Sounds like they're about to do construction out there again. Oh Lord. Like I said, I've been having a crazy couple weeks, you guys. Like, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Let me dry this. Thank God this dries really fast. Now I think, because I wanted to do kind of like this beachy kind of area. So I'm probably going to use this paper here. This paper is from this paper pad right here, which is the French Riviera. I think it's an older collection. I actually bought a D-stash off of here on YouTube, and I got like a whole bunch of the same paper, the same type of stuff. So I pulled out this page here because I like the tones. I like the fact that it's got like all these different variations of it. So what I'm gonna do is actually just kind of start ripping. And just whatever shape comes out, kind of comes out type of a situation. Okay. And what I'm gonna do so that I can kind of taper these up, I'm gonna fold them somewhat, not all the way, because you don't want that crease. But then we want to get rid of these sharp, you know, kind of edges. So we're gonna do that. And then we're gonna see basically how we want to fit this in. I'm gonna do that. And then again, we're gonna fold these in a little bit and then just kind of bring that down. So we don't have none of that edge. Okay, something like that. I kind of like that. Let's see. There you go. Just a little bit. I kind of like that. So that's what I'm going to do. And then I'm just going to take off all these little bits and pieces. So to do that, I'm going to get my glue. Where is it? Where are you, glue? Oh, it's right in my face. It's right in my face. And I'll bring this down so you guys can see it better. Or we can top to the bottom. Oh, it's okay. It's all right, love. I'm programmed to just keep going. Like the Energizer Bunny. So no worries. No worries. I'm not that type of person. I don't hold those things up against nobody because I know people got stuff to do. I'm currently on a break. That doesn't mean everybody else is currently on a break, right? So no worries. No worries. I appreciate any and all support. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and kind of glue this on here to kind of create the grounds because we have to ground them, right? We don't want to have floating birds. We need to ground them. So that's what we're going to do with this. We're going to kind of create that ground area for them. And no, I didn't distress it or anything like that because for the most part, I'm going to be adding a whole bunch of sprays and stuff like that. I am going to decoupage it so that I can go ahead and glaze some more color over here. Kind of do that and do that. And now I just kind of have to scrape it if I can find my scraper thing. I was using this yesterday to apply the gesso onto the surface. That's why it's all looking cray-cray. So we're going to just kind of squeeze that in there. And like I said, we are going to glaze over it because I do want to make sure that everything is everything, right? So we want to make sure we can apply more colors on top of here, and we're still going to be able to wipe some of that back. If you don't glaze over it or gesso over it with a clear gesso or something, you won't be able to pull that color off once you've applied it because it's obviously paper is going to absorb it all. So if you want to be able to, you know, recede some of the color every now and then what you want to do is apply a quick little coat of Mod Podge or some kind of sealer so that you have a glossy kind of surface so it's no longer porous, and then you will be able to kind of move ink around and stuff like that over here. Oh, and look, you see? One came off. Where's my little glue on brush? I need to make sure that I am generous enough. That's what it is. The brush is so small, it only grabs with so much, and you need to be somewhat generous with this. So I think that'll do it. I think that'll do it. And in the meanwhile, we're going to do this. Oh, you're trying a tiny keyboard? Let me know how that works. Because I've been wanting to get one of those little tiny ones because I'm limited on space. I have literally on my desk, I have everything. Not only do I have like most of the stuff that I used to create, I also have my computer on here. I have everything in its mother, this desk. And I need to, you know, somehow minimize or optimize, I should say. I should optimize the space that I have. Just getting some of that decoupage off because if not, you're going to end up with a silicone brush, which might be cool if that's what you wanted to do, but if that's not what you're trying to do with your brushes, then don't do that. Clean it, clean it. As soon as you use it, use it. All right, let's add a little bit more hot air over here and get this sealed up. Dries really, really quickly. Okay. Let me just need to make sure that these are covered. I didn't cover them up all the way. And here's the other one that we used. Making sure that I have this everywhere I need this. Another little layer. Another little layer. This thing is really spraying there. Okay, so now that we've done that, just dab a little bit of this, just so that again I cover the surface as well as I can. I don't want to mix the colors, so all I want them to do is kind of layer over each other and just create, you know, kind of go with the flow, with the illusion that I'm trying to create. All right, so now that we've done that, let's go ahead and see how much color we can add down here. So I'm gonna go with this Lindy's Starburst for the bottom of my piece. No problem, love. So this is what I'm gonna do. Apply some of this Lindy's on there. And then I'm gonna go with the Deco Art in the white. You kind of do the same down here. And I want a little bit of this blue. Maybe not that blue. Maybe the Zest Acrylic blue. And this one is Sea Spray. Hey, I'm trying to do a sea. So let's see. Ooh, that's strong. Let's move that around. So kind of roll it around a little bit. Again, I don't want to mix the colors up too much. But I do. Where's the white again? I've lost it. No, it's right here. Bit of that. And it's kind of roll it around a little bit. These are different sprays. They're going to react differently to each other. All this other excess paper is going to kind of go away. Where's my sponge that I was using? And just kind of drop that out just a little bit. Okay. I need a little bit of green. Because we need a little bit of green when we're making some kind of sea themes, anything, right? So a little bit of green. And I was looking, I was watching the, like I said, I've been watching some nature shows. And I saw that there's some flamingos that live like in this really toxic environment. Like the water it literally will burn your skin off and like basically turn anything into concrete. And they thrive on that. And I was so shocked. And the water's kind of pink. So I'm gonna add a little bit of this copper buff onto there as well. The water's kind of reddish in tone or pinkish in tone. So maybe that'll work. Maybe that'll work. I want to kind of like create, like, I don't know, some kind of pattern or something happening here. I want the wordings to show still, but I do want there to be some kind of a pattern happening here as well. So we're going to kind of add this onto there. And where's my alcohol? Spray a little bit of alcohol on there. See what happens, right? You never know. You never know. Let me go ahead and try to dry this out a little bit and see how that kind of comes out. It looks like water is about to attack, but it's okay. Because the waves are kind of like coming up. So we'll see how it all kind of looks. I don't know how it's going to come out at the end of the day. I generally do not have a complete plan of execution. That's a rarity when I do that. Those are lotto days, you guys. Those are the days you play the lotto, because that doesn't happen often. Usually I just come up with a little idea. Like I knew I wanted to use this flamingos and I knew I wanted to use this. And as I'm starting to kind of like search for stuff, everything else kind of starts coming in, you know, as a process. Look at my messy, messy desk. So let's see. I'm going to add a little bit more white. I'll try to add some white down here. Because it's funny how the sky sometimes basically mimics, you know, the ocean. We have foam in the ocean. We have waves in the ocean. They kind of look like clouds if you think about it. So I'm trying to kind of like create like this cloudy or foamy effect here somewhere. It might work, it might not work, we'll see. I'm not sure, but we're gonna just kind of wing that way. And let me get a little bit more of this. This one is what? This is the sea opal. Whoa. Okay, this one's leaking. They don't clog, but they leak. They do leak. I'm just gonna kind of splash this on there like so. Just kind of dot it out, just to create a little something, something. And let's see. And a little bit more of the screen, maybe. I just sold a piece of wood, like a piece of plywood, to make it like stock white. Yeah, that's gone. It's no longer white. I put it on the bottom of all of this, kind of like now I have coffee stains and everything else that's mother happening here. All right, so that's pretty good. I kind of like that, the only thing I'm gonna do now, the last thing I'm gonna do as far as this, and I'm gonna start working on the flamingos, is actually, where's the whites? I'm gonna just splash some white all over the place. Splash some white down here as well. Yeah, I think that's enough. That's enough splashes. Quick little blast of air. And as you guys have seen, this has been super simple to create. All I basically did was spray the backgrounds first with a couple different colors. I didn't even gesso my metal embellishments. I just glued them on because I didn't mind the darkness that they kind of brought to the piece. I didn't want to completely blend them in, which is something that I would normally do. But I wanted this to be a little different. So I did not do that in this situation. And now we're gonna basically peel this up. And that's gonna be like a makeshift moon. I know, me too. I'm like, oh my God, do I want to put an astronaut on here or a flamingo? I don't know. But we're gonna keep moving because I think it's coming out pretty decent. So I have a little bit of chalky not a little bit. I have gray chalky paint. So the moon is kind of grayish, right? It's kind of silvery, kind of grayish and silvery. So I'm gonna go ahead and kind of fill this in. I'm gonna try to fill this in. Just kind of go along my edges here. And like I said, this is not as opaque as a traditional. It does have, it's a little bit translucent, just a little bit. You can totally, like, let's say you wanted to put this over a collage, you can. And you'll still be able to see some of the elements under it. It thins out, and it does get very translucent. So if you want it to be really opaque, you're definitely gonna have to give it another coat, at least for the chalky paints. But again, I love this because of the tooth, because I'm able to draw on it with regular pencils. I don't have to get nothing fancy. And if you like to draw and paint and things like that, then this will be very beneficial to you for those purposes. Mainly for those purposes. And for the other purposes, it just will serve as well. As far as being a sealer and all of those things, you'll still get all of those qualities on there as well. Okay, so I kind of got that going. Hopefully that looks good still. You vote for an astronaut? I think on the next one, because all I have right now is flamingos. That's all I have right now. I wasn't ready for astronaut, but I'm looking at it and I'm like, wow, that would have been so cool. Like a whole outer spacey kind of scene. And you guys know that I live more, you know, like on Pluto, if you will, than I do on Earth. So most of my pieces do tend to have like that. Yeah, that's not something you would see out here. That's definitely something you would probably see out there. And so I like that. I like that a lot. Let me go ahead and start kind of cutting off some of this excess paper so that this whole thing is not looking like the endless landscape. Rip that off the edge. All right, all right, all right, all right. But I like how that's looking so far. And it's really glossy. The Dina Wakely sprays are like my go-tos right now. They're like my favorites of all favorites when it comes to the sprays. Loving it, loving it, loving it. I love all of them, to be honest with you. I love the sprays, period. But I love the fact that they're so rich in color. I'm not really one to go so much for like the real light ones, the ones that are kind of transparent. I'd rather have that boldness in that color. But that's just me because I like, you know, I like to express so much with the, using colors. Just kind of cleaning off some of those colors that I don't want on there, like that green that kind of went into my sky. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna put this to the side for a second. I'm gonna start working on this flamenco so you get one last look at what this looks like. And I'm gonna go put this over here. We're gonna start blowing those flamencos down, painting them up, and all of that good stuff. So again, I have these. I'm gonna put them facing each other. And we have some Tim Holt metal pieces. These little flowers, super adorable. And I'm basically going to be, that's everything. We're gonna basically be doing that. So the first thing I'm gonna do with this actually is give it a nice little coat of gesso because it's not gessoed. So we're gonna go ahead and gesso that really, really fast. And I think just because I'm dramatic, I think I'm gonna add, I'm gonna extend the tail so that they're flamencos, but they're not flamencos from here. They're flamencos from somewhere else, right? They're from outer space. These are like, you know, Plutonian flamencos or something. So I think what I want to do is something like that, right? Because I'm gonna be adding all these flowers and stuff here. So I think that will kind of lend itself somewhat okay. So I'm going to adjust all this in a minute, but I think the first thing I'm going to do is do that so that I can give them a bigger tail. Flamingos don't fly, right? I don't think they fly, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure if they're like penguins or if they actually do fly, but that's kind of what I want to do. So I'm going to use my brush on glue so that I can do this job as fast as possible because it seems to have been working out for me so far. And I'm just going to kind of stick that on there. And then once I adjust it, hopefully it'll keep it more in place. But that's kind of what I'm going to do with this flamingo. I'm going to grab a piece of gauze and I'm going to just kind of do that like that. Hold that in there, let that kind of hold it. Let's do the same right here. Because what good is imagination if we don't use it, right? We got to use that imagination. It doesn't matter that it seems weird or it's like awkward or whatever the case may be. It's about having fun. And I always have fun when I use my imagination. I'm one of those people that can entertain themselves very easily, which I think you guys have probably noticed that about me by now. All right, so what do I want to do? Let me just add a little bit of this blue here. Just a little bit. So that'll hopefully hold that whole thing in place for me. And then do the same thing to the other one. This is like the flamenco bride, right? Like the flamenco bride. So again, these are not like your ordinary flamencos. These are like flamencos from Pluto. So they have a really long tail because they like to, you know, they like to do their flamenco dances and their tails go all over the place when they're doing the flamenco dances. And that's basically how I make sense of it all. So that's the reason why their tails are like that, because their mating calls require them to, you know, kind of like how peacocks do. They show all their feathers. So this kind of does something similar to that. And we'll spray this down because you got to spray these brushes down whenever you use them with Mod Podge. And I do have some traditional pink, but we're going to see what else we kind of incorporate onto this. So let me grab myself a piece of chipboard. Usually these are the ones that I use up later. It kind of gives me an excuse to create on a 12 by 12 scale. So I use these later on to kind of create with them. So we're going to go ahead and gesso all of this. Trying to see if I can find a brush that is a little bit more forgiving for what I'm about to do to it. So I'm just going to gesso this really quick. This is chalky gesso. It dries really, really fast. And I can just keep going from there. So we're just going to do that. And I'm going to decorate the whole thing, spray the whole thing, paint the whole thing right from here. And I actually do have some pink, now that I think about it, I do have some pink sprays and stuff like that. So we're going to go into that as well. And I did the back, but you don't necessarily have to do the back if you don't want to. And then I'm going to definitely go ahead and Mod Podge this tail. Not Mod Podge, gesso the tail. And we're going to see how that's going to look because we don't know. This is the first time for me working with this particular design like this. So we're going to see how that's going to kind of work. But it's always fun to take the ordinary and transform it into something extraordinary, right? Give something new life, new meaning. And let's see. Figure out how I really want this to kind of be. And we're going to go and do something like this. Okay. That'll work for me. And then I'm just going to put this to the side and do the next one. Then we're going to spray this down. It is 11:11. If you believe in that, make a wish. Usually that's when the angels are talking to you, or at least letting you know that you're being watched and protected. It's also the make a wish time. Usually that's what we do. Whenever we see 11:11, we make a wish. So far, so good. As long as you don't ask for nothing, you know, extraordinary. So I have that, my little crazy looking flamingo. I think that's gonna look good, especially once I add, you know, the flowers and stuff. I think that the flowers is really what's gonna give it play. And definitely bring like the whole vision to life. I didn't want to do like a steampunk version, which was kind of like what I was debating with earlier, because I was looking at like all my chipboard, like some of the pieces that I have left over of like the big gears, the jumbo gears and stuff like that. I was like, I should do a steampunk and use up some of these that I have left over, but maybe for another day. I also have a project that I'm going to be doing soon, which is an altered bottle, because I do have an altered bottle there. I mean, I have a bottle to alter, and it's a really cool looking bottle. It has a really awesome top. My daughter gave it to me, because she knows that I like to alter surfaces and things like that. So whenever they find those cool looking, you know, surfaces, those odd shapes and stuff like that, they always bring them to me. So, but I think she wants it for her new apartment, so we'll see. We'll see how that kind of goes. Can you please contact me? Yes. There you are, flow for me. Yes, I sure can. Not a problem, love. I sure can. And we're actually closer to the end than we are to the beginning. Once I spray these things down and dry them, it's just about placing them, and then our piece will be done. So we're almost there. These are the parts that take the longest, and this is why I'm glad that the chalky gesso actually dries as quickly as it does, because that saves me time. And I didn't have to do too much drying today, which was awesome. I feel like drying things is like wasting time. I mean, I know it's a necessary, you know, it's a necessary evil, basically. But it's like you waste so much time with the drying. And then it's like if you have things that are instant, it doesn't give you enough time. So it's like, why do you toy with me? All right, so I have this one kind of like that. So let me open this up, kind of like how I have that one. And then I can go ahead and do this. Kind of mold it a little bit how I kind of want it. There we go. I want to kind of put these ends together a little bit. I say together and they separate. Did you see that? Okay. All right, all right, all right. Okay. A little bit of gesso right here. And the reason that I'm priming this cloth, even though I'm going to be inking it up, is just to give it more durability, more so than anything else. Because it would have absorbed the colors just fine. But I just wanted to make it a little bit more durable. And now I'm going to go ahead and glue some of my pieces on here. so that I can start kind of, you know, getting this whole thing ready. So let me just heat this real quick. 2 seconds. Well, maybe a little bit more than 2 seconds. I know, love. We've spoken on Facebook before. Okay, just a little bit, because like I said, I'm going to be doing more with that now. So I'm going back to my brush on glue, which I'm thinking I'm going to have to do it this way. This is going to be dry. So actually, let me go ahead and use some Mod Podge on this. Okay. Let me see. Do I want this there? It's 1, 1, and 1, and 1. See how the whole design goes evolving? I think that's what I'm going to do. The whole design kind of goes evolving little by little. I always start off one way and end up another. It's another reason why I don't like to plan. My plans never go according to what they're supposed to. Do that. Do that. And just kind of glue these things on here. Right, that one goes here, that one goes there. I think that one goes there. So I'm just gonna kind of push that into it. And again, I'm gonna have to heat this up just to kind of get it to where it needs to be so that it can all kind of dry. I am gonna kind of push these onto one another and make like a little cluster, a tight little cluster. Make sure that I do everything right. Awesome sauce. I like it. I like it. I like it a lot. I'm gonna add a little leaf in there if I can. Let's just kind of put that there. And let's do the same thing to the other one. And Mod Podge is usually not something that you will want to use with this, but I work with what I got for right now. And like I said, a lot of my things are actually put away because I wasn't planning on coming live for a little bit until I got all these other issues kind of like resolved. There we go. Trying to get that little one to kind of stay there. It's not wanting to do that. Okay, and then we have these teeny tiny little ones. Where's the other little teeny tiny little one? You know what? It's not there, then I'm not gonna worry about it. So let's go ahead and dry this up some more. And hopefully it'll stick properly that I can at least start spraying it. We can do these at the same time. My Plutonian Flamingos. Thank you, thank you. I hope it comes out looking even better once I add like the pink and stuff. Cause I have this one by Dina Wakley. So we're gonna add a little bit of this magenta on there. I really have to brush up on my color theory because, well, I have to learn it. Forget about brushing up. I have to learn color theory. I've never taken any of those classes. I've never learned any of those things. I just kind of wing it. And that's why I'm not the greatest teacher when it comes to this, because I can show you more I can teach you more by showing you than by actually telling you, because half the time I miss what these actual words are, these actual definitions for certain things. I have no clue what they are. I'm just trying to kind of make sure they at least hold my things in place. That is hot, hot, hot. That was not smart, smart, smart at all. So just bear with me, you guys. A few more minutes. I should be done with this lab within the next 10 to 15, well, the next 15 minutes, hopefully I should be done. 15 to 20 minutes tops. I think these are coming out super cute. And again, it's super fun to kind of alter these things. So I'm just gonna go in and start kind of spraying because I still have to keep drying more. So I might as well just start spraying and crossing my fingers and praying for the best, right? So let's go ahead and start spraying these. Some of this orangey color. I don't want any turquoise, not enough turquoise there, but maybe a little bit of this eggplant. Just a little bit, maybe. I don't know. Let's see. Right, you never know. You never know. We get some white. Okay, I gotta clean this. That's getting clogged, and then I'm gonna use some alcohol. This is alcohol in this little bottle. And this will create separation in the colors themselves because it doesn't like alcohol. So it'll create some separation there. And then I'm gonna add just a little, like a little dab of like this black. Because it's a plutonian, hello, it needs dots because it's like half a leopard or something, I don't know. It's a plutonian flamenco, you guys. I don't even know what I would call it. Honestly, I don't even know what I would call it. But we're gonna give it some dots. We're gonna add some dots to its tail. Kind of like a peacock, but not all the way a peacock. Maybe that's what it's more like. It's maybe like a cross between a peacock and a flamingo. Okay, I like that. I like that a lot, actually. Let's see. So we have some of that, some of that, some of that. And let me add a little bit of this in drops as well, the purple. And this might look like a whole clash, but I love it. I know my art is not everybody's cup of tea because it's messy. A lot of people don't like messy crafts. They can't stand to see it and they can't stand to do it, so I can understand that. Me, I love me some messy crafts. All right. Well, I might not be here, but I'll reply to you as soon as I get back because I do have to step out of the house real quick. And I don't necessarily always take my phone with me. Most likely, I'll leave it charging so that it could be ready when I come back home. But yeah, but I'll get back to you if anything once I get back. I think that looks so cool, if I do say so myself. I do have to add a little bit more sprays. Come on, come on. I love that. It almost looks like an acrylic pour, but not quite, but almost. All right. So, let's just do that real quick so that I can kind of just tint these edges up. So they're not necessarily stock whites. I don't necessarily want them stock whites. Tail, I need to just spray a little bit more. The tails have a little too much white in them still. Again, just picking up some of that color and daubing off some of that white area so that I don't have that there. Just kind of covering up all of those little loose ends there. Just a little bit of shading. I'm adding a little bit of shading here and there, nothing too major. All right, so we've got these down so that I can go ahead and glue these babies in place. Let's bring back our canvas. But before so I don't have to stumble, with those, I'm gonna start adding in my moon real quick, and kind of doing that. I need my sponge. Where are you, sponge? So this one too. I'm gonna add a little bit of gesso to the sponge, and just kind of add some texture into my moon. I'm gonna grab a little bit of black spray, put a little bit down there. And just kind of do this. And add some texture there. And it doesn't matter how the moon looks because it's a moon from another planet, so it's not supposed to look like ours. But it's supposed to have some resemblance, right? Some resemblance. A little bit more. Just a tiny little tap. Just a tiny little tap. And then we'll be almost done with this piece. Basically alternating those, and then what I'm gonna do is actually add a little bit of the white gesso. Give it the lightest little touch, just to kind of encompass the moon. Just a light little touch. Really, really small. My hands are so dirty. My hands are so dirty, you guys. So hopefully for those of you that are watching this live stream after the fact, you found this video to be inspiring. I hope that it has brought you some creative ideas and got your creative juices flowing, because that's what this is all about. That and creating messes. But for the most part, you know, well worth the mess, if you ask me. Okay. Create so much shadow. But let me just bring it up to you real quick before I add the flamingos in there. So we have some filigree flowers that I've basically added some kind of a frame around. Just created a little bit of a perimeter around it, if you will. I created some clouds using a sponge and basically just daubing in white paint, you know, within a few seconds of each other. So I allow some of it to dry before I go ahead and add the next layer. Again, with the moon, I've basically added a sticky, clear plastic on it, and basically masked that area so that as I was spraying everything out, I still had that solid space kind of empty. In the bottom, I did some collaging with Prima paper. And now we're gonna add our flamingos. Oh my goodness. Yes, 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 yes. I love it. And it's so bright. It is so bright. I love it. I love it. And we're basically gonna anchor those down. I'm just gonna open them up just a little bit, just to, you know, give them a little bit more shape. They're not all the way dry, but they're dry enough. And here we have our flamingos. And I love it. I think that looks super cool. And I'm gonna go ahead and dry these. I'm not dry these, glue these, glue this down. And I'm gonna use regular glue for that. I'm gonna let them sit. I'm not gonna tilt the canvas up again once I've glued this down, because I wanna make sure that it does dry. As far as a sentiment, I didn't add a sentiment. I don't think that this piece necessarily needs a sentiment. I think it's absolutely gorgeous the way that it is. So I'm gonna bring this up to you so that you guys can kind of see what it looks like on its own. And maybe I could have used a little bit more texture in the bottom there, but that's okay. So I'm just gonna do this. Now that I know that I'll be able to kind of allow it to dry. Maybe I will add something in the bottom. Maybe I'll add some beads or some sand texture. I do have some sand, so maybe I will, after all of this is dry, go into it and add some sand in the bottom there, create a little bit more texture, or maybe some seed beads or something of that nature. We'll see. We'll see. With me, and none of my projects are ever officially completely done, because I always look at them and find myself inspired to add more. Always, always. So this might not be the last that you guys see of this. Well, it'll probably be the last that you see of it in this form. Chances are is that I will be adding some other things to it. So I'm going to go ahead and add my glue to the tail and kind of you know, mold that how I want it. I want it to kind of stick up and be very dimensional, very textured. cleaning up some of the glue where I don't want to see the glue at, just in case it dries up bubbly. I don't want that. So I'm just kind of making sure that all of that is good to go. And you guys, I think we did it again. Another piece, another official piece created by me, Elemental Designs. But my mama named me Carmen. But yeah, I like it. I like it. I like it a lot. And this can basically go like that. And again, it's all about creating that texture, that dimension. That's what it is like. That's what it's about for me. I love using all different types of items and things that I can find around my house to create an altar and just do all kinds of fun stuff. I'm a firm believer that you can make art out of anything and everything, and you don't necessarily need a certain skill set to do so. You just need a little bit of imagination and patience with yourself to get the job done, and you shall get it done. Okay, so with that being said, you guys, I want to thank you all so much for being here. I really do love how this piece came out. I enjoyed it very much. We have some Dina Wakely sprays happening all over the place. We have a little bit of Zep After. We definitely have some Deco Art sprays as well. The chipboard Flamingos, they're not from happydaycrafts.com. They're actually from hobbylobby.com. So they had these on clearance last year at the beginning, I think sometime last year, I believe, or at the beginning of this year, I'm not sure. I know it was before this whole, pandemic situation happened. So I got them on clearance and I decided to give them a whirl. I was kind of scared to use flamencos and play with flamencos because it's not necessarily something that I've done in the past. But I'm really happy about how they came out. I love how vibrant the piece looks. I think it looks absolutely gorgeous. I will be probably, doing a little bit of touch-ups here and there, but overall, this is what it's going to look like. We have the moon, we have the peacocks. These are my Plutonian flamingos, okay? You guys know how I roll, so hopefully you guys, will appreciate my zaniness. And I will catch you guys on the next one. I believe my next project is going to be some kind of an altered bottle or something like that. And again, anything to do with happydaycrafts.com right now is temporarily on hold. If you want to purchase what I have there, you can. Those are still available. I can still process and make those. That's not a problem. But as far as the new release and things of that nature, I'm waiting to upgrade my computer, which I'm working on. So just bear with me. I do have a lot of things that I have planned and all of that good stuff, but one step in front of the other, you guys, and we shall make way. So with that being said, I want you guys all to have a blessed and safe one. Don't forget to wash your hands and wear your mask, okay? And I will catch you on the next one. Bye.